Union Missionary Baptist Church Women Walk Worthy presents Black History Month, Women in the Arts. Author, Beverly Jenkins, 1951. Looking beyond the cover, if you've ever seen some of the covers of Beverly Jenkins' book, you may not be drawn to its seductiveness and romantic title, but then again, you just might. However, author Jenkins' books are full of true history based on African Americans from the untold 19th century, which is her inspiration. She states that writing is a blessing, and it is her ministry to bring African Americans during this period to life, making it accessible so people can be proud of who they were and still see the struggle in a real light that is not glossed over. She shapes her characters on people who are real, so they are just not cardboard characters going around doing stuff. They are shaped by their times. Jenkins attempts to include history in her books without too much pain and to make it interesting without being angry. Jenkins was raised in Detroit, Michigan, in an environment made for a writer. Her mother, whose side of the family had incredible comments on being Black in America, would tell stories about growing up in the craziness and wonderfulness of being a little Black girl in Detroit in the 30s and 40s. At night, Jenkins would tell stories to her sisters. She attended Michigan State University with studies in journalism and a major in English literature. At MSU, she became a librarian with a love for factual reading and the Journal of Negro History, now the Journal of African American History. It was not until the age of 30 when she engaged in reading romantic novels. She was so intrigued that she started writing about romance with a historical backdrop. She never thought that presenting her writing to an encouraging friend would have led to publishing her first book, Night Song, in 1994, to being the renowned author she is today. Many have stated that they have learned more about the 19th century African American history from her books than from any traditional education. Jenkins has 49 works in print in several categories that feature blessings, historical romance, women who dare, and young adults. All her work include a bibliography for further self-research. Two of her books, Deadly Sexy and Bring On the Blessing series, have been optioned for a film by Sony Pictures and Al Roker Entertainment. Her writings have been rewarded by the likes of Romance Writers of America Nora Roberts Lifetime Achievement and the Romantic Times Reviewer's Choice Award. She has been nominated for the NAACP Image Award in Literature and was featured both in documentary Love Between the Covers and on CBS Sunday Morning. Jenkins has garnered accolades for work from the Wall Street Journal, People Magazine, Salon, Shondaland, the New York Times, and NPR. She was also named Author of the Year by the Michigan Library Association in 2018. At 69, Jenkins has become a hot commodity with her works going from printed matter to the screen. In closing, from her own words, "My stories are told through my gaze, and the gaze of those who came before, and historians whose shoulders I stand on, and the folks who made a way out of no way so that I could tell their stories." Sculptress Tina Allen, 1949 to 2008. I am trying to lift up the idea that human strength and courage are beautiful, and we have to redefine what beauty is about. What do A. Philip Randolph, Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Nelson Mandela, Alex Haley, Ralph Bunche, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and a host of other distinguished African American icons have in common? They are bronze subjects of the late and artistic sculptress Tina Allen, who began her creative expressions through sculpture at the age of 13. Born in New York in 1949, some accounts state 1951, Allen grew up in a household where well-known musicians often visited and creative expression was greatly encouraged. Her father stated that Allen always had a paintbrush, crayon, or something in her hand, knowing that she was going to be an artist. Her career can be attributed to being in the right place at the right time. While on a Granada beach, she met Lithuanian-born sculptor William Zorak from New York during his vacation. Allen showed him her work, and when her family returned to New York, she was connected to Zorak, and he became her mentor. At the same time, she was also enrolled in a museum-sponsored art program for artistically gifted youth. When given a high school art class assignment to make an ashtray from clay, Allen instead created her first three-dimensional work, making a bust of the great philosopher Aristotle. While initially dabbling in painting with an avant-garde theme, she discovered her true expression in clay and figurative studies. Subsequently, Allen began winning competitions and awards. Allen studied at the University of South Alabama, hosted a television show on the arts, and attended Pratt Institute, the New York School of Visual Arts, and the University of Venice. After struggling to win small commissions to keep her financially afloat, she set her sights higher and in 1986 entered a competition in Boston for a commission to create a memorial statue of African-American labor activist A. Philip Randolph. She won the $85,000 commission, and her career began in earnest. Allen's Michigan Connection is a 12-foot bronze monument to Sojourner Truth on display at Memorial Park in Battle Creek, Michigan. Additionally, she designed the Striding Sojourner Truth gold pen, which is the matriarch of the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club, Incorporated, worn proudly by members of the Greater Lansing Area Club and others throughout the United States. Allen's medium is her message of trying to hold her mirror up to the community and make them see the beauty she sees. She sees herself as a writer who makes objects and writes history in bronze. Allen also sees art as a cure for what ails us and as a bridge across the racial divide. When creating her sculptures, Allen works on them until they look back at her. A lot of times she feels them interacting with her and telling her to do this or to do that to make it look better. Her collection also includes intimate pieces of dancers, parents cradling their children, and men and women that engage her people, the African American family, in the conversation of art. At the foundry, where artisans cast her visions in bronze, Allen states, "I never get used to seeing that it really happens. I watch it pour in time and time again, and when it cools, to think, you just pick up a hammer and it's there, ready to sit around for 3,000 years. It's amazing to me. When you get to this point, you feel like, I've done it. It's going to last." Dr. Naomi Long Madgett, 1923 to 2020, godmother of African American poetry, poet, publisher, editor, and educator. Appointed Detroit's Poet Laureate in 2001, Dr. Naomi Long Madgett has shared her time and talents with generations of poets and lovers of poetry during the span of her 97-year life. Her elegant, exacting, and lyrical poems address a breadth of themes that include social justice, romantic love, women's histories, religious devotion, and the craft of poetry itself. Her works of poetry include Songs to a Phantom Nightingale, One in a Many, Star by Star, Pink Ladies in the Afternoon, Exits and Entrances, Octavia and Other Poems, Remembrances of Spring, Phantom Nightingale, Juvenilia, Octavia, Guthrie and Beyond, Connected Islands, New and Selected Poems, and You Are My Joy and Pain. Dr. Magid has edited 2 poetry anthologies, published her autobiography, and has written textbooks for creative writing. Born in 1923 in Norfolk, Virginia, she grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, a deeply segregated city where she attended school that was marked by entrenched racial prejudice. Later, she attended the first all-black high school west of the Mississippi. It was during high school where she discovered that she could be anything her talents could support. It was clear that Dr. Magid was destined for the arts. Her poetry writing started at the age of 7, and her first poem was printed in a local newspaper when she was 13. Her father was instrumental in a collection of her poems being published when she was 17. Her lifelong mentor from the age of 15 was renowned poet Langston Hughes, who had a strong influence on her writings. As founder and senior editor of Lotus Press, she published more than 90 collections. It was out of frustration for the lack of publishers for Black poets that Lotus Press was established in her basement to provide an avenue for the upcoming and the very best poets to have their works published. Dr. Magid pursued her studies in higher education at Virginia State College, University, attaining a bachelor's degree in English. She furthered her study at Wayne State University and the International Institute for Advanced Studies, where she earned her Master of Education and doctorate, respectively. She went on to teach in the Detroit public school system for 12 years, where she launched the first course in African American literature. Dr. Magid also taught creative writing and Black literature at Eastern Michigan University after being appointed Associate Professor of English. She has received numerous honors, awards, and recognitions throughout her distinguished career, which can be summed up with Dr. Magid's expression: "What I have done with my life is only what I was supposed to do." She further expressed, "I believe the purpose of my life is to serve, to make a positive difference in someone's life, to redirect someone who is heading in the wrong direction, to be a good role model, to inspire someone to lead a more meaningful life."